and welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Our friend Bill Humber is here for the beginning of the month. He is, of course, the author of Recruiter Guy's Guide to Finding a Job. And today's discussion is about the basics of an executive job search, specifically for those, say, in their 50s who have been employed for quite some time and all of a sudden they're not. You know, either their company is sold, they go out of business, and all of a sudden they're in a situation where they have to look for and obtain a job. They've never had to do this before, right?
That's right, Chelsea. You know, many times what happens is as a person is growing through their career, people start saying, wow, this person's got potential. And other companies will call them and attract them. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden now they're in their 50s and something happens, they lose their job. And they've never had to look for a job since high school when they were putting applications in at grocery stores.
Sure.
And now they're going, what'll I do?
Yeah.
And so it's really tough for somebody, especially at that age, because their perception is sometimes that age discrimination starts kicking in. Mm-hmm. And with some companies, the reality is, yeah, that does happen. You know, you look at some of the software companies, nobody's over 35.
Sure.
You know. But I think it's not really super intentional there, although I've seen postings even recently that if you're more than 10 years of experience, you're not going to fit here. And you go, I don't know if I'd be saying it publicly or not.
Right. Yeah, we had a discussion
That's right.
about this.
Exactly. So, you know, there's 5 basic steps that an executive should go through. And it doesn't matter if it's a CEO, COO, executive vice president, high-level manager, that they should go through to at least get started.
Okay, and this first one is, it has to do with our skills, kind of going over an inventory or taking an inventory of what we have to offer, right?
That's correct. So get 2 sheets of legal paper and fill up both of them with some item that describes a strength of theirs. It could be something as simple and seemingly stupid, but really still important, as I keep a well-ordered desk drawer. As a consultant, I go into companies all the time, you know, and they say, you know, I said, where's the stapler? And try that center desk drawer, and I open it up. It looks like something's living in there. There's wrappers. And you know, I'm kind of afraid. I just
probably something is living there.
But other ones, you know, everything is got a spot and is in its spot, and that says something about the person sitting at that desk.
Interesting.
So if that's one of their skills or attributes, then they should put it. So everything that they do well.
All right.
And then on the personal side, same thing. Maybe they're a great tomato gardener, you know.
Oh.
And if they live in Park City, there's only one thing they can't put because it's on my list.
Oh.
And that is, I make the best spaghetti.
Will you bring this?
No,
you should do a cooking segment.
The proof is Linda tells me so.
Oh, she does?
Yes.
What a good wife.
Yes.
What a kind woman.
Yes.
I'm sure you do make the best spaghetti. Okay, so make a list of these things. Okay.
And then put an asterisk next to the things that you do well that you enjoy doing.
Ah. So it's a passion, but you're also skilled at it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's what you want to focus your search on, is jobs that encompass all of those passions.
And that's very valuable you bring that up, because sometimes there's stuff that we're good at but we don't necessarily like to do.
Yeah.
And that's, you may not think of putting that down, so very, very good to distinguish that. All right, so number 2, make a list of everyone you know. Why?
Well, that's just start of your networking. 74 to 76% of all jobs are filled through networking. 74 to 76%.
Wow.
And posting and praying, only about 8% of all jobs are filled that way. So that's your list of networking people. The people you call up, get to know again, they're really usually happy to hear from you. And you make that list. It can be vendors, it can be people you worked with, fellow executives over the years. Should have at least 500. Really important. And then get their contact information either from LinkedIn, and if you don't have a lot of, you should have at least 500 LinkedIn connections. If you can't find their contact info, and it's usually right up near the top on the profile, then what you do is you go to Google with the information you do have, and generally you can find them that way.
Oh, okay. Good to know. All right, so after we've made that list, number 3, a resume.
You know, I've read over 500,000 resumes
Oh my gosh.
since 1981. You know, you're a recruiter guy. You have to do stuff.
Yes, yeah, that's your job. Yeah.
Right. And some of the resumes that I've read, frankly, just weren't very good. Others were full of the impacts the person made, the accomplishments. And that's what I'm looking for when I'm doing a search for a particular position. I'm looking for people who make impacts. And so the resume should include the impacts that they've made. Now is not the time to be humble. This is your marketing piece.
Yes.
So make sure that
You're selling yourself.
You're selling yourself, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So resume, remember to put your accomplishments, focus on that, and then yes.
And your contact information.
Ooh.
And don't put it
Have
in a
people
header.
forgotten that?
Well, what happens, I think,
Why
is they
not
put
it in the header?
Because the header's like a photograph, and a text-based system won't read the header.
Interesting.
So don't put it in the header, put it down in the base of the resume.
Oh, okay, good to note. And then an introduction. What do you mean by this?
The introduction is I call it in my book, I call it the Here I Am speech. It's a 1-minute commercial, elevator speech, whatever title you want to give it.
And what should this include?
The way I like to structure it is tell me a little bit about your background, including some accomplishments that you're really proud of. The bridge is why it is that you're looking now. Could be my company was purchased, there was already another CEO by the company that bought us, didn't need me. And what I would like to do now. So 3 pieces, and who do you know that I should talk to? Most people make a mistake there by saying, are you aware of any jobs? Knee jerk is no, because they don't know that person really well.
Right.
Sometimes. And so it's who do you know that I should talk to?
I like that phrasing. That works a lot better because it kind of it's more like it's less salesy, I guess you could say. It's like, hey, do you know anyone?
Right.
It's not like okay, I like that. It's a good way to think about that. Okay, so kind of like an elevator speech, an introduction of sorts. And then number 5, look at finances. What are we looking for here?
What is the base amount that you need to live on? Because you need to know that so that when you get an offer, you'll know, well, this is an offer I can't accept based on my expenses. Or, wow, I'm all over this one. And so find out what it is that you need to live on. And what's really a good thing to do is if you have creditors, call them the day or 2 after you got laid off and just say, hey, guys, I may be late. I may not be able to pay the full amount. I just got laid off. I'm doing an active job search, but I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, that's a really valuable insight. Okay, so the 5 are 1, do a skills experience inventory. 2, make a list, the networking part, as you said. 3, resume. 4, like a Here I Am speech. And then 5, look at your finances. So that's a good place to get started in the basics. And to find out more, and if we want help from you individually, we can get your book on Kindle, right?
You can get it on Kindle and recruiterguide.com or speakbill.com or both my websites.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, Bill, anything else to add this morning? I think we covered it, right?
I think we've got it covered.
All right. And as we said, this is such a treasure trove of information if you are in the process of searching or just know-how, just to understand kind of what's ahead of you and what you should be watching out for. So thank you so much, Bill. Nice to have you here again.
It's great to be back, Chelsea.
And nice to see you.
Yeah,
I know, but I think we've risen like 30 degrees since we've seen you last, something like that.
Yeah, we probably had snow the last time we saw each other.
I think we did. Yeah, this is kind of bizarre. I'm kind of wishing for that back now. It's kind of roasting out there now. But anyway, nice to have you here. We'll see you next month then.
Okay, sounds good.
We'll be right back after this commercial break. When we do, we're going to be discussing stem cell research. That's after this.